Hey there, guys, how are you? So, if I'm wearing my Captain America shirt and I say I don't love a certain Marvel film, does that mean people can still call me a DC fanboy? I guess we'll find out. Captain Marvel is the latest film from Marvel, and there's a conflict between two alien races, the Kree and the Skrull, while Captain Marvel's stuck in the middle. And I'm just waiting for April so I can watch Avengers Endgame. And very quickly, before we dive into the review, this video is brought to you by Displate. It's an awesome website that has next generation posters. Because all of the designs are printed on metal, there's thousands of new and retro designs for every genre. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video and I'll show you some of the designs I have. And if you want to pick up some for yourself, use the promo code TheFlickPick15 to save 15% off your order at Displate.com. Link down below. Now let's talk about Captain Marvel. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, but I'm ready to go. So this is an origins film establishing the character of Captain Marvel before we watch Avengers Endgame next month. That way, when she shows up to save the day, we know who this character is, and we care about her character. And throughout this film, Captain Marvel is trying to explore who she is and where she comes from because she doesn't quite remember. And you get a series of flashbacks throughout the entire movie. And sometimes those flashbacks give you a backstory on her character. At other times, you just see Annette Bening in the CG environment. One of the best things about this movie is it takes place during the mid-1990s. And for me, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I love films that take place in the 1990s or any time period when I was growing up because it's relatable and it's just fun to watch. It reminds me of a simple time in my life. When I was a little kid, I came home from school, I played my Super Nintendo. I miss it. Throughout the first act of the film, there's tons of references to the 1990s. There's a blockbuster. At one point, her character's wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, and there's some 90s pop music playing in the background occasionally, and during action sequences that sort of take you out of the moment, but we'll also talk about that a little bit later. And since Captain Marvel comes from galaxies far, far away and she's stuck on Earth and she doesn't remember anything about her past, well, this film turns into a fish out of water story, and I like movies like that, and it's very reminiscent to other Marvel films that we've already gotten, such as Thor or Captain America, when he's especially writing the list of things to do or movies to watch. And overall, the most enjoyable part of this film is the first act of this film, where Captain Marvel and Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. team up, and it turns into this buddy cop style of film. And by the way, on a quick random side note, speaking of buddy cop movies in the 1990s, has anyone ever seen this movie, Theodore Rex, starring Whoopi Goldberg, hanging out with a dinosaur in the future? Never watch it, please. And as far as Samuel L. Jackson goes for this film, he's in the film the entire runtime. I was not expecting that. I was expecting him to show up for the first act and then fade off into obscurity. But no, he is a solid character throughout this entire film, and that's a pleasant surprise. And the de-aging effect that they do on his character looks pretty good at times. I will say there's a few wide shots. Whenever he's in another scene with a few other characters that don't have that same de-aging effect, he stands out a little bit, and you sort of have this uncanny look at him. But other than that, I would say they did a pretty good job making Sam L. Jackson look 30 years younger. But part of me was hoping when I was watching this movie, we'd get this version of 1990s Sam L. Jackson. And as for the antagonists of this film, you have the Skrull, who are this alien race who have the ability to shapeshift and turn into whoever they want to. They essentially have the same powers of Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, and that's awesome. And the main Skrull character is played by Ben Mendelsohn, who's played a villain in the last 18 movies he started. And even with all of the prosthetics in this film, which looked really good, you still got that emotion that carried through. And the thing about this character was, at first I didn't really care, and then throughout the film he slowly grew on me, and there was an arc and there was some depth to his character, and that was appreciated. Alright, it's that time of the video where we all get into a car together. I drive 88 miles per hour down the freeway to Negative Town. I slam into a tree and our heads go through the windshield. Where was I going with that? Oh yes, I hate to say it, but based on the trailers to this movie, it's pretty much exactly what I thought it would be. But for me, the most obvious thing those trailers were doing were they were masking Brie Larson's performance as Captain Marvel. And you could say it was to be mysterious and to show how stoic her character is and how heroic she is as she's looking off into the distance. But no, her performance as the character of Captain Marvel, I'll put it like this. Whenever I see a movie after that film, I ask myself, could I imagine any other actor playing that role? For example, when it comes to the Marvel Universe, could you imagine anyone else playing Tony Stark or Thor, Chris Hemsworth's bicep definition is amazing. No one else could replace him. Throughout this entire movie, I was waiting for that one moment, and you guys know the moment I'm talking about. It's that one moment where the character slowly rises up, and it sends chills down your spine and gives you little goosebumps where the hair stands up, and you think to yourself, that is the hero I wanted that person to be, and I believe what I'm watching up on the big screen. But nope, that moment never happens, or at least for me it never did, and that was a letdown. And Brie Larson as an actress, she's won awards. She can act, but I don't feel like this was the right role for her as an actress. It's sort of like George Clooney's a phenomenal actor, but he's a really shitty Batman. And maybe that's an exaggeration, but you get where I'm going with this. As far as the emotion and charisma that Brie Larson has as this character of Captain Marvel, it doesn't translate to what's happening on the screen. And even when she becomes confident as a character, I still don't believe she's confident. And that's all really unfortunate, because this was supposed to be the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we see a female-led superhero flick. And I was really looking forward to that. This could have been groundbreaking and phenomenal. It could have stood out. It could have been stylized. And they could have pulled out all the stops and really just blew audiences away with a movie that was different because they're doing something for the first time. And in my opinion, they should have done a Black Widow film years ago, but that's besides the point. And stylistically, as far as this film goes, it feels like one of the lower tier Marvel films, sort of like Thor 2 or Iron Man 2. It's not one of the Marvel films I want to go back and rewatch over and over again on Netflix or go to my Blu-ray shelf where I watch the same 10 Marvel films over and over. I've watched Avengers Infinity War 12 times this year. I need friends. Help me. Now, a few other things that were a letdown with this film was the style and overall tone of this film. It doesn't quite know what it wants to be at times, and other times, stylistically, it's a very bland movie to look at. I mean, there's just no style here. Anyone could step in and direct this film. It's just shot for shot for shot. And one other negative I have with this film is at the end of the second act, there's this very forced and contrived relationship that Carol Danvers has with a past friend, where they really try to force that friend on you and make you care about this relationship. And the movie comes to a sudden standstill to do that. And it stays there a little bit too long before you finally move on into the third act. This is a very substandard Marvel film, and no, it's not because it's led by a female. That's fine. I'm not a male misogynistic pig. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that during a comic book movie review, but for some odd reason in 2019 I feel the urge to do it. This movie, by all means, should have been groundbreaking. This should have stood out from every other film. This should have been what Wonder Woman was, or at least better. But I will say at times throughout this film, there are some interesting Easter eggs that take place where it ties in with other films in the Marvel Universe. I liked Samuel L. Jackson as a young Nick Fury in this film. I like the 90s nostalgia at times throughout the film. At one point, it becomes a little too much with some of the pop music they're playing during an action sequence. Yeah, I'm going to give Captain Marvel a C for Captain Marvel. It was really hard to buy into this movie when all I saw was Brie Larson wearing a pleather jumpsuit pretending to be Captain Marvel. I never got immersed into this movie, and I feel like it missed the mark more than it hit it, and it's a forgettable movie. When it comes to the Marvel universe of films, 20-plus movies down the road, when you go to your Blu-ray shelf and you try to pick out one of these movies to watch, I know for me, I probably would never rewatch this movie. Alright guys, so those are my thoughts on Captain Marvel. Now here's my question for you, and let me know down below. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? As always guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, that way I can see you next time. And now let me show you some awesome posters that I have and how to hang them. So let's go. Okay, let's talk about these now. I love the way they look. Let's go with Mad Max Fury Road. Oh, what a day. What a lovely day. Alright, so these come from a company called Display, and all of their prints come on metal posters, essentially. They're like the next generation of posters, and these are awesome. They feel sturdy. They actually feel like art hanging on your wall. I love the designs. They have a design for every single genre you can possibly think of. Anime, movies, just the most random things. And for each movie, my favorite thing was there was hundreds of different designs just for that one movie. So I went with this one, of course. On the back, they have these little magnets with the sticker. What you do is you peel off the sticker, put it on your wall, and once it's on your wall, you can just pop the poster right on your wall. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Perfect. Actually, it's a little crooked. Hang on. There. So as you can see, I went with a really cool design of the original Jaws poster, Mad Max Fury Road, and the Terminator because I need Arnold at all times in my life, somewhere to motivate me in life. But like I said, there's thousands of designs on their website, and if you guys want to save 15% off your purchase, just use promo code TheFlickPick15 to save 15% off everything you buy on the site. I'll put a link to display down below. Don't forget that promo code to save some money. Please save a few dollars. Alright, so big thanks to Displate for sponsoring this video, and big thanks to you guys for watching. My biggest issue now is figuring out where to hang those other two posters, and eventually I do want to buy more designs once I get a bigger apartment. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you use that promo code down below to save a few dollars, and I'll see you guys next time.